Last week, I interviewed Christina from the Turn Leg. She is a fellow Midwesterner who loves to rescue and upcycle, has a vendor booth, and loves teaching others how to repurpose. If you also love to upcycle and repurpose, then this is an episode you guys want to go listen to. It's a good one, and you guys are going to love Christina. Now, in this week's episode, we're talking about something every content creator or small business owner faces at some point: how to deal with keyboard warriors and online negativity. If you've ever received a negative comment and it stung, then stick around because we're going to break it down and I'm going to give you guys some advice on how to deal with keyboard warriors.
Welcome to the Rescued and Upcycled podcast with weekly inspiration, tips on trying new techniques, and overall real talk about owning your own DIY business. Now here's your host, Sonnet Ullenbrook.
Welcome back to Rescued and Upcycled. I'm your host, Sonnet Ullenbrook. I want to thank you all for joining me on my podcast. If you are new here, I interview creatives and small business owners every other week, and then I just love talking about all things business. This year, I've decided to incorporate some decor and design topics to the podcast, so you'll see those sprinkled out throughout the year. But I hope that I have been inspiring you along with my guest hosts. Now, as I mentioned right away, today we are talking about something every content creator or small business owner faces at some point. I can't imagine nobody ever experiences this, but if you are if you are not in the norm, I applaud you because this is something that is very hard for small business owners. How to deal with keyboard warriors and online negativity. So one, there's been a couple negative comments that have really stung. And one that has come up several times is my voice. They think my voice is annoying. And it took a while for me to even decide to do a podcast because a podcast, you are talking and then everyone has to listen to your voice. And so I was told that I have a very sing-songy voice and that, I need to get voice lessons and I need to seek out a voice coach. But on my most recent reel, it came up again. And I could have done a number of things. I could have blocked that individual that said it, who was portraying herself as a Christian. And most of the time, you guys, I just read it and I just walk away. I scroll by and I leave it there because I could delete it, but I had decided I'm just going to leave unless they're swearing on my post, I don't delete. But no, everyone should see what everyone has to say. And I guess it is her point of view, but she is being a keyboard warrior would she have said that to my face had we been standing right next to each other and I would have been asking the question that I was asking on my reel? Would she have had the nerve to actually say, "Oh my gosh, your voice is so annoying"? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. You're behind a screen. I think they sometimes forget that I can click on their name and actually be brought to their Facebook page. I can see what life that they're portraying. And I think they forget about that. And so other viewers, though, did the same thing. They clicked on her page, they looked at her, and I think now it's up to like 300 comments on her comment. And I actually feel bad for some of the comments that people said about her because they were like, picking on her or being, bullying her. And I never wanted that. I just, it the first few felt like kind of good. I'll be honest, because I'm like, it did sting when she said that. And the first time that happened to me, which was very early on in my YouTube journey, it took me, honestly, you guys, it took me like a week to like really like get I guess I'm never over it, but really work through it. I remember the very first video that I edited after somebody said that to me, and it took like hours to edit my video because I had to keep going back and listening to my voice, and I'm like, what am I saying wrong, or how am I pronouncing these things wrong? Like, why do they think my voice is sing-songy? And I could not figure it out. And, I think what happens is when I'm doing like a quick video, like a reel, and I'm trying to like figure out what to say, that I might have like an uptick to my voice. So, I mean, I'm glad that it was brought to my attention that I may sound like that to some, but honestly, I think it's more of a Midwestern voice. It's like it I shouldn't even have to explain. So that was one of the things that happened. Like another thing was when they found out I had a cottage and a home, and they were like, people were appalled that I had a house and a cottage. And I basically was thinking to myself, we live within our means. I shouldn't have to explain this to people. And I don't understand like why they're making comments like this, why they feel the need to say stuff like that. Another example would be um, Julie from Julie's Designs and Signs. It happened to her recently, and it has happened to me, that they cannot believe that we thrift and resell. Well, it is our way to buy like wholesale rather than buying from China and reselling. We go to a thrift store, we pick individual items, and then we resell. So, like, these comments are just not necessary. But they come up every once and again. And I just want to make you aware that if you have received a hurtful comment, you are not alone. And I think these hurtful comments make it so hard for so many people to put themselves out there. Creativity is so personal, and, going live or doing a video or creating a reel or like any type of interaction with the public, you're putting yourself out there, and becoming, you probably feel very vulnerable. You're not just sharing, products, you're sharing a piece of yourself when you go live, when you go do a video. They're seeing a different side of you. So I just, like the fear of judgment, like so many people have a fear of being judged, like after they get that hurtful comment, like after I received that comment, every post I would quick look to see, did I get anything? And I have to remind myself that I can get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of good comments, but it's always that one post or that one comment that's negative that really stands out, and it really starts playing mind games with you. So, just keep in mind that, um, you know, don't have that little voice in the back of your head of, what if they don't like it? Who cares? If they don't like your voice, if they don't like your post, if they don't like the way you're dressed, it doesn't matter. Because just think of, you're a unique person yourself, and I'm unique. And if they don't like me, then guess what? There's so many other content creators out there. Now, after sharing something, sometimes you feel very exposed, and that's why a mean comment can even sting more. Honestly, the post that I received that mean comment on, it was so stupid. I asked a question about two pieces of pottery, and that was like the meanest post or comment on that post. But other people said other really randomly weird things on there too. So, um, you have to realize too, when you start getting those types of comments, that actually is a good thing, because it means that Facebook or YouTube is pushing you out to not your audience. So you're getting in front of new people, and you just have to realize that not everybody's going to love you, but your people love you. So just always keep that in mind. Um, and then you have to think, who are these keyboard warriors and why do they act the way they do? Um, I often think this, like, what would, because in school, like in our elementary schools, junior highs, high schools, they talk about bullying, like bullying and not, stopping it. Well, what she was doing was being an online bully as an adult. So was she a bully in elementary, junior high, high school, college? Obviously, she's still a bully to this day. So I am just wondering, like, why is she like that? And so it made me think, are they, acting the way they do because they're having their own pain or personal issue? Something is bothering them. Is it, maybe it was just this one time, maybe like she has something else going on. I always try to think about that, like other, think of like hurt people. So most of the time it's just not really about you. It's just about something that's going on with them. So I always try to keep that in mind. Um, and, keep in mind too, it's easier for them to shield, behind that, that keyboard. It's easy to be mean when you're hiding behind the screen. Like I said right away, I can almost guarantee that she would never have said that to me had we been face to face. So if this is happening to you, like these are things that you need to think about as well. Another thought was, are they attention seekers? So, um, I wonder. So, like, for instance, when I did a thrift haul, it was a reel, and it was when I did my 5-day thrifting challenge at the Goodwill bins. And I don't know if these people were like just trying to seek attention. Like, I received so many comments that I'm a hoarder. I mean, I don't think I'm a hoarder, but do I have a slight problem of like thrifting a lot? Yes. But I do resell. So I would not consider myself a hoarder because it's not like I have to keep these things. But some people just want that reaction, whether it's good or bad, just to feel like powerful. And so I think those comments, because of all the different TV shows are out there on hoarding and things like that, I think that it's just like an initial gut reaction to try to say something like that. So, but how should we all handle negative comments without losing our spark? And I also thought really deep about this because when this first happened to me, it did really dim my spark. It really did. And honestly, like, I felt so bad because my husband was so beat up about it too. He felt so bad that I was feeling the way I was feeling, and he was trying to make me feel better. And I'm like, Craig, no matter what you say, it's not going to make me feel better right now. And I just had to work through it, emotionally. So just you know, um, don't engage emotionally, I guess, with them. So pause before you respond. You don't, owe anyone an instant, comment. So many times too, like I wanted to write something to her. Like I had it all wrote out, and I had to step back and I had to think, is this really what I want to write on my social media platform, first of all? And is this really like, do I want to, throw in, another stone at her? And so I thought about what I was going to post, and I called her out on being an online bully. And I said, I told her it was very hurtful. So instead of being hurtful back to her, I told her how she hurt me and that I felt like she was being an online bully. She has yet to comment and to any of the comments. And I'm surprised she hasn't taken down her post, but after 300 comments to her. But no, she has not. And, you also have to think, you need to set boundaries. So it's okay to delete the comments if you want, block the person, mute them, restrict them, out of all the people that have commented on my YouTube channel, I have only had to block one comment, and that was from the very beginning. And it was again just a very again a hurtful comment. It was very, I don't know if it was necessarily even hurtful. It was just very unnecessary, and I blocked her. I also did block two people from my Facebook page, and I did that because they were swearing. It was very like inappropriate, and I do not tolerate that on my page. Nobody should be treated that way, and they don't need to be commenting to my viewers like that. But just look at the big picture. You have to always think about like one rude comment is not the truth. Look at the 99 other people who have loved what you've created or love, your post, and they love you. So you have to keep, building yourself up for that. And then you guys save your kind messages, because there are a lot of kind messages. And I had not done this, but, I was like brainstorming and I was thinking, you could create a kind words folder with screenshots and encouraging comments, and reviews. And look at it when you need a little boost because there are so many kind people rooting for you. Every time I call a customer back and, responding to like an email or a post and, or a voicemail, and I give them a call back and they're like, oh my gosh, you're actually calling me. And then they tell, they say such kind things. And I'm like, I just need to bundle that all up and open it up when, something like negative happens, like that negative comment. So definitely think about doing that. But you guys just need to protect overall your energy. It's not weakness to protect your peace, it's just wisdom. So, just make sure that you're protecting yourself and if you have to block the person, if you have to delete it and, take time to walk away before you respond. But really, if you think about it, it's, how to heal from those hurt feelings. You let yourself feel it. Like when the first time it happened to me, I couldn't ignore it. You shouldn't ignore hurt feelings because it doesn't work. If there's something bothering you, you shouldn't just stick your head in the sand or walk away. No, you should take a moment. You need to feel it, and then you just need to move forward. And you have to realize that it may not be you, it's them. So, but yes, definitely acknowledge it because I think if you don't acknowledge how you're feeling or what the situation is, you can't move forward from it. And then, talk it out with someone you trust. I trust my husband. I talked it out with him. I trust my mother, talked it out with her. I have some good friends. And I have a group of gals that are creatives and we all get together and chat about stuff. And, it's funny because they all like know my voice. So none of that, they're like, I don't understand where these people are coming from. So it's kind of nice to hear that other people don't find my voice annoying. And it was just maybe her. But, don't stew alone, you guys. A good friend, a fellow creator, or, even if you have a business coach, can remind you of your true worth. So definitely reach out to somebody that you trust. And then stand back and think about why you started. Reconnect with that. What was and, it wasn't, you never started because like you thought, why are you doing this? Just think about that. I keep going back to my comment, but everybody is going to have different comments. So go back to your mission. You're creating for your people, not your critics. So keep that in mind. Every day I show up because I want to inspire people. I really do. That was my main mission, was to inspire and help teach people how to create, how to use products, and give them ideas and, take them along on my, small business journey. And so you have to reconnect to what your true mission was. And then, create a personal, mantra like, I am brave, I am growing, my work matters. Whatever your mantra is, you create your own personal mantra, and you just keep telling yourself that. Because honestly, I just have to keep reminding myself and saying, like, I'm here to inspire. I'm just here to inspire people. And that is truly what I am here for. So I hope today that you can relate with where I'm coming from with these keyboard warriors, and just know that one negative comment does not define your value. Your creativity, kindness, and courage do. So keep showing up, and the world needs you. Just remember that. It's true. I think of like everything that I have been through in life, and I'm like thinking to myself every time I would overcome like a little hurdle. I mean, God kept me here for a reason. And I had to keep reminding myself, like, there's a reason I'm here. And I'm here to, help inspire, help others create. And that is what I want to do every single day. So if you've ever been hurt by a negative comment, you are not alone. Reach out to a fellow creator this week and lift them up, and together we can be stronger. So I encourage each and every one of you to do that, to reach out to a fellow creator and give them, a little boost. So that's what I'm encouraging each and every one of you. Now, next week, you guys, I will be interviewing Sasha with Sweet Pickens Milk Paint. So if you don't know Sasha, you have to start following her page. It's Sweet Pickens Milk Paint page. It's on Facebook, and she's on YouTube as well. But she posts a lot of like behind the scenes on her Facebook page. And I have been so inspired by her beautiful post of her home decor. She does home projects that she, tackles. And she is the owner of several milk paint companies, including Sweet Pickens Milk Paint. So I am so excited to interview her next week so that you guys all get to know Sasha and find out really how she decided to start running a milk paint company, and just really get to know how amazing she truly is. So I'm very excited for that interview. Now, if you guys are listening on any of the podcast platforms, do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you guys don't miss out on an episode. If you are watching over on YouTube, definitely hit that subscribe button. Turn on your bell notification so that way every week you'll be notified when I upload a video over there on Rescued and Upcycled. And if you don't follow my other page, Sonnet's Garden Blooms, definitely do that as well. And let me know in the comments what you thought about today. And, if you've ever experienced a negative comment and had, from a keyboard warrior. So you guys can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Sonnet's Garden Blooms, where I post a lot more content over there. And I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and we are going to see you next week. All right, guys, bye.